Millennials are more liberal and less religious than their parents' generation. But when it comes to the issue of abortion, their views are surprisingly similar. 6 in 10 believe abortion should be legal in all or most cases, but 65% also say they are pro-life. Numbers don't always tell the full story. So we spoke to 7 millennial women about what being pro-life means to them.
I would describe myself politically as a conservative Republican.
Consider myself democratic socialist.
Definitely conservative.
Currently registered as an independent.
I would consider myself a pro-life feminist, without hesitation.
I am a small L libertarian, which means I want people to have maximum freedom to make decisions for themselves.
I tend to lean more conservative, just because they tend to be more pro-life.
I am someone who survived an abortion attempt. My mom walked out of a hospital minutes before she was scheduled to have an abortion with me. Nothing that I've ever done, going to school, getting married, would have been possible if I was not given the right to life. My mother had not walked away.
There's a lot of silence surrounding the issue because people don't want to impose their beliefs on somebody.
At Princeton, I found that being pro-life was definitely that got people's attention.
I am an editor at Reason, which is a libertarian political and cultural magazine. Definitely a minority voice there as a practicing person of faith.
So it's not uncommon to have engagements, some of them friendly, some of them less friendly, on the subject of abortion when you are a part of left politics. So that can be difficult, can be a little bit of an island over there.
I remember I posted last year a picture on Facebook when I went to the March for Life, and one of my Facebook friends just gave me this, just let me have it, with all of the pro-abortion slogans of, keep your rosaries off my ovaries.
For example, in high school, my posters were being torn down and my friends would glare at me as I would put new ones up.
Gotten everything from a middle finger to one point there was grown men just threatening to physically hurt me. I may get upset and I may get hurt, but I try to come in an opposite spirit because I think that that's the only way you overcome is by loving people, and you don't want to let hurt or anger or bitterness turn you into someone that's unloving, because then what's the point? What's the point?
Being respectful when you're engaging in debate, of not ascribing the worst possible and least charitable motives to your opponent. That's really important to me, and probably especially so because I know what it's like to be sort of surrounded by people who don't necessarily agree with me on everything.
People associate being pro-life with being conservative, with being a Republican, with being white, and sometimes with being older. And that's changing. There are more and more young people who are becoming pro-life, more and more people that are not of religious faith, like secular pro-life.
I also am an outspoken feminist, so they're like, hey, wait, I thought if you were a feminist, you'd agree with me and be pro-choice. I thought that's a thing that goes hand in hand.
It can be a little bit easier for me to talk pro-life with somebody because the whole stereotype is the old white man wanting to control your bodies. That's kind of out of the way because I'm not an old white man.
Like a lot of my peers, for years I've been finding myself at odds and frustrated with both the traditional right and traditional left.
Especially with today's, this year's election, it's really hard to sort of align yourself with one party because we sort of got really polar opposites, and I think most people fall much closer to the center.
Agitated is a very good word, that there doesn't seem to be a place for pro-life feminists in modern society.
Being pro-life for me is more of an all-encompassing ethic. It's not just being pro-life in terms of abortion. It's about the death penalty, it's about helping poor people, it's a lot about single motherhood.
There are a lot of ways in which, in politics we could better support women in making their life choices, and I think a lot of those difficulties have to do with childbirth and, building families.
Women and families who feel like there's no other choice but abortion do so because they're facing a whole host of issues in their lives and structural problems that they did not create.
We need more maternity homes, we need more resources for women. They need to know that they're supported and that they really don't need abortion, and I think that's where change is going to happen.
It's just up to the next stage of the pro-life movement, wherever it goes from here, to reach out to millennials who already hold those values.